Future Jam.
Welcome to the Future Jam for another fantastic week. I'm here again with Alex.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Going great as ever, and it's always fun hanging with you.
Yeah, I guess if you think it's fun hanging out with me.
Yeah, I mean, I do pay you a lot of money to hang out with me, so it's worth the cash.
Yeah, I wanted to say congratulations to you, Mike. 4 years on the Future Jam. I remember when this was just a twinkle in your eye at the lunch table.
What do 4-year-olds do, Alex? You're the parental expert here. So what if Future Jam podcast was a child? What would be the things it was doing at age 4?
Reading and playing and going to bed by now. It's late.
Yeah, it's past our bedtime, and we definitely still can't read. No, I listen to audiobooks.
Well, I was going to reach out to get maybe Harrison or Jarrett to say something nice, but then I realized I don't know. I'm not friends with them on anything, and I don't know their last names. So
they're mystery people.
Yeah. Well, and then Jarrett's not on anything.
No, he is completely off the grid. Jared is. So we originally started the show with Jared. He's basically off the internet altogether. Harrison is off doing some nonprofit work in Cincinnati, and he's enjoying it and doing a good job with that. So
that's good. That's exciting.
So yeah, we've branched out, and then I tried doing it by myself for a little bit, and it's just not as fun. It's just not as fun by yourself. So
it was awkward because you still acted like you had a co-host. You're like, "Hi, this is Mike from the Future Jam, and this is his co-host Sammy." And
yeah, I did do that, and I don't know why. It was pretty awkward. I had pretty good voices, though, I feel like.
You did. You should have been a voice actor.
Yeah, I should have been. But that's pretty dumb, what we're talking about, but not as dumb as the Bizarre and Dumb Tech of the Week segments we have this week.
Yeah, we have 2 this week, and both are dumb and bizarre, I think.
Yeah, they're both equally that. Let's just jump into the first one. A woman allegedly made deepfakes to kick rivals off daughter's cheerleading squad. Let's just explain off the bat what a deepfake is. I guess a deepfake would be if I got a picture off the internet that put Alex into a compromising position and then pasted his face onto that picture. That would be a deepfake. Alex didn't actually go to this brothel, but I changed the face of a person in this brothel to Alex.
Yeah, so it's making either fake videos or fake photos. You see it a lot online with especially when Obama was president. You're like, Obama said this, and you can tell it's fake. But the technology for deepfakes is getting really good, which is kind of scary. That a lot of times you might not be able to tell it's a fake video or fake photo. But yeah,
it is getting scary. I think I follow somebody on TikTok that kind of looks like Tom Cruise, but then he made a deepfake where it looked like Tom Cruise was just walking around the city interacting with people, and it wasn't Tom Cruise. It was just this guy, and somehow he had digitally stitched Tom Cruise's face onto his, and it looked almost like dead on. You couldn't tell the difference, really.
Yeah, so it's crazy, especially, some companies are coming out with technology in the future to combat this, to tell you what is a deep fake and all.
But even that's not very accurate either, I hear.
No, not yet. It's always the technology to commit the crime is always ahead of the technology to defend against it.
Yeah, exactly.
It would eventually get there.
But what's funny is what this lady did was she wanted to kick all the other pretty girls off the team that were I guess cheerleading is very competitive. I'm not really into that, but
yeah, cheerleading is super competitive. You never watched the world champions or the state champions in Disney? They have them.
No.
No, it's a super competitive sport. But yeah, she was putting pictures of these girls either drinking or smoking or naked, and sending them anonymously or sending them to people to get them kicked off the team. Like the coaches, I heard she sent one to coaches or principals or whatever.
Which is but law enforcement actually got involved.
Yeah, they were able to track down like the IP address because a couple of girls like, hey, I got this anonymous message. This isn't me. So they were able to track down the IP address to the woman's like house, and then saw it on the phone that she was doing this. They said they don't think her daughter knew about it, and honestly, I don't think her daughter would have known unless.
No, I'd be pretty pissed if I was that daughter.
Yeah, like she says to go to school with these people.
Yeah.
Well, she's getting charged with a misdemeanor of cyber harassment of a child, which I think is a newer crime after there's been like a lot of child bullying online and things like that. So
It's a misdemeanor. It seems kind of like a light sentence there.
Yeah, but, I mean, hopefully she
Learns
probably,
from it.
Yeah, probably pay a fine or do community service.
Yeah, if it seems like parents are always the one that are more like intense about these things than the kids. Like the kids are like, oh, whatever, mom, I'll do cheerleading, but the parents are like really pushing the kids to do this and trying to cut through their way through it.
Like I would be more understanding if it was the daughter doing it, and she really wanted to be like a starter on this team or like the head.
Yeah, because that's like something an immature like high schooler would do.
Yeah, but like when your parents get involved, it's just like. That's crazy. Like, what are you doing?
So either the mom is very tech savvy or she figured out a way to pay people online to do this. It's just nuts. But let's jump right into the next one. This one, did you ever see the movie Tenet yet? Christopher
No,
Nolan?
I didn't. I wanted to. I hear mixed reviews.
Yeah, I guess the biggest complaint about it was the audio mixing. So you could barely hear the dialogue over the music and sound effects because it was so loud. And I guess to kind of amp that up to another level, I'm not sure if he's a fan of the movie or just kind of like playing a funny joke, but he uploaded the movie to Game Boy Advance cartridges.
Yeah, so I didn't know you could do this, but like he put the movie when Tenet is like a 2.5 hour long movie, and it's like. Christopher Nolan, if you don't know who he is, he's the one that did the Batman trilogy with Christian Bale, Dunkirk, Interstellar, Inception. Like, he does big movies. And part of Christopher Nolan's thing is, like, he hates, like, streaming service. Like, that was the thing about Tenet. Like, he would not let them release it on the streaming service because he wanted fans to see it on the big screen. Which, also, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but Christopher Nolan talks the talk and walks the walk. They opened up movie theaters in L.A. yesterday. And he was in line, one of the first people in line to go see a movie.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
he probably has enough money to have his own personal movie theater in his house as well.
I think guys like him and the guy like you hear Spielberg talk, like they just love going to the movies. That's why they got in the movies. Like you hear Spielberg talk, like he would just go to the movies all day. See, like,
I would rather see a movie there than at my house, honestly.
Yeah. So I think like because he's gotten some backlash bad mouthing streaming services, but like they want to make movies for the big screen. And this guy Bob Wolf, he has a YouTube channel, was kind of just being like sarcastic, but he used 5 Game Boy Advance cartridges.
It took 5. That's hilarious.
And if you don't know what the Game Boy Advance is, it's a Game Boy, one of the Game Boy products. It's coming up on its 20th anniversary.
Yeah, it's very old.
But like he had to like cut it down to like 6 frames per second. Like really put down the resolution on it and had to speed up the video by a third just to get it on this. And it's kind of neat that he did it, but
he just did it to do it, honestly. He just wanted to get on the internet. He made like little like stickies on it, like adhesives to make it look like it was like actually bought at the store and such. And you know what this reminds me of is, do you remember the PlayStation Portable, how you could buy small movies for the PlayStation Portable?
Yeah, that was supposed to be like the big thing.
Yeah, I actually had like 3 or 4 movies for my PlayStation Portable back in the day. So it kind of reminds me of that. Like you could just take the movie with you on the go, but 5 discs for one movie, I don't think I would ever even imagine to do something like that. So
no, and those discs can also hold a full movie, and they're holding full video games. But it was just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting and dumb. It's dumb and interesting at the same time. Let's do our tech bites, and we're trying out a new thing this week where we're going to do a 2-minute timer for these so we get through them pretty fast. So, Alex, you want to hit the timer for the first story?
Okay, here we go.
And we're off. The first one is Amazon's warehouse has like mini games now for workers, and they're going to do this across 20 states.
Yeah, they started back in 2017 at one warehouse. So it's called like FC Games. And they have like 6 different games you can play, and like it's based off like your work performance, and then you can buy it, like virtual goods in it. So it's really trying to get like the people motivated. It really is like a lot of people like it's really like lukewarm, I guess. Well, some people love it, some people hate the idea.
Not everybody are driven to like do games at work, and also on top of that, like it's already grueling work, and you don't want to have. Amazon's trying to get you to work harder than you probably need to. And they said that they're worried about people having accidents on the job and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're trying to make it more fun and all. They say it's not related to your performance, but I think they can kind of tell, like,
yeah.
Sometimes, like, well, this guy's doing really good on the game. This other guy, he's not doing it at all, and his numbers aren't great, so.
But this would irritate me, honestly. I hated games at work. I just wanted to get my stuff done and go home.
Is that why you never played hopscotch with us at work?
Yes, that's why I wouldn't go into the lunchroom and play hopscotch with you guys.
No, but it's interesting that they doing this. I mean, because I imagine the job is really repetitive.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make it a little bit more fun and increase productivity. But the complaints is like if they're increasing productivity, it can lead to more accidents because people are rushing to get high scores because it keeps track of like how you and your warehouse, but then also compares you to everybody else that's on it now.
Yeah, there's leaderboards across the whole company or your warehouse, that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I could see where certain people would get excited about this, but doesn't really excite me at all.
No. Okay, we came in just a little while.
Yeah, let's jump into the next one. Netflix is testing a feature that could limit password sharing. And I'm going to emphasize that word could because I think this is not something that's going to be fully put into place, at least for a while.
I think if it's like an egregious thing, like if somebody's like sharing their password with like 10 people, I think they can do it. They will do it. So what it's doing is like popping up and asking you a question like, hey, do you live with the owner of this Netflix account?
Yeah, not everybody's getting it either. It's just like a random batch of users.
You can deny it or like you accept it and then you're fine, or you can like pause it till answer it later, which is kind of odd. Which is like admitting that you don't live with them, in my opinion.
Or just you don't want to look at the email.
Yeah.
I don't like responding to emails.
Yeah, but Netflix has kind of said that this password sharing stuff they're trying to end it to boost their numbers.
Well, they claim that it's designed to ensure people using Netflix accounts are authorized to do so. So I guess if you were in a relationship and you gave it to your girlfriend and she broke up with you, that she wasn't still accessing your account without you knowing it. Or like if you had a roommate or, a sibling that you didn't know was accessing it, that type of sort of thing.
Yeah, but then you can always just change your password after you break up with somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
We use I used to like share my password a lot with like a lot of my family, and then they all just got like their own accounts over time.
I feel like they're just going to use different methods than like this to get people to buy more accounts because that's what the goal is, to get more people to sign up. Because right now they already have like on smaller, like cheaper subscriptions, you can only watch at two screens at once, and you have to pay more to watch more screens at once. So I think they're probably just going to implement more of those where, if you want 3 profiles, it's this much, or 4 profiles, it's this much. They'll probably introduce more tiers, probably.
Well, that's it, Mike. Next topic.
Next one, Google will face a lawsuit over incognito mode tracking. If people don't know what incognito mode is you can put your web browser supposedly into a private mode where you can view websites without it tracking history, cookies, etc.
Yeah, so that's what like a lot of people use it because they don't want to be tracked, and we're seeing internet companies over the past couple of weeks decide to change like the privacy settings, like Brave and Microsoft, and Google even announced it. But like I guess people weren't aware that they were still being tracked in incognito mode because the whole thing is supposed to be it's private. But Google's always tracking you. That's kind of what their defense is. Like, people didn't read the agreement that they can still monitor what your habits are.
Yeah, people don't read agreements at all. And what's funny is when you do click onto incognito mode, I did it now, it tells you right there that you can still be tracked. So that's why Google says they have a decent like defense in this.
Well, I wonder if they just added that.
No, it's always been
always
there,
been
I
there?
believe. Yeah.
Because like they wanted to dismiss it, but a judge said it can go to trial for like the lawsuit. And Google's big thing is incognito doesn't mean invisible.
Yeah.
I know you always used it when you were looking up something questionable at work on your phone.
Yeah, I was looking up gifts for family members.
Yeah.
No, I didn't want them to know about those gifts. No, in all seriousness, I do use it all the time because I don't want to get ads for like products. So like I'll get on there and like, I might have this health ailment. Let's search WebMD for stuff, and I'll use incognito mode because I don't want Google to know like, oh, this guy is might have a bum knee or something.
They know your weakness. They can take your
Yeah, they know my weakness. Or, if I'm searching for products, I don't want to get bombarded with ads for that product. So I'll just search in incognito, and it works 9 times out of 10, honestly. So, yeah.
Time. Next topic.
Next one up is Idaho ends Powerball participation amid lawmakers' concern that Australia could use lottery revenue for anti-gun measures. That's a long title, and I honestly don't know if it's anything at all about guns, but you put this in there. What was this about?
Well, Australia has really strict gun laws. They had like one mass shooting, and they're like, hey, we need gun laws. I wish our country can learn something similar. So the Powerball is expanding to Australia in 2021 and then Britain in 2022. So right now it was just in the United States.
I didn't even know it could expand to overseas. I didn't know this was even possible.
I didn't know that either. So but they're expanding it, and like Idaho has been doing it for 30 years.
They're like one of the first, right?
Yeah, and like they're worried about like security if other countries get in, like China. That was part of the lawmakers thing.
Oh no, our tax on poor people is going to get security breached.
Yeah. So. But like the big thing is that the Powerball sale is $28 million annually, and then $14 million goes to the schools in Idaho. So that's a big chunk of change not going to schools anymore. And also like there's like $3 million spent in Idaho alone on Powerball advertisements that they're spending on billboards and things like that. So they're losing a ton of money. I don't want to be like the guy like, oh, they're doing this for anti-gun laws. I really think they want to kind of cut funding to schools and privatize them. That's just me.
No, they probably just want to have their own lottery system. Like they probably already have state lottery, but they probably want to have more. Or there's got to be some other reason behind this besides just cutting funding to schools.
One person was like, well, the complaint is that the more people playing it, the less chances you have to win. But you're not playing against other people. You're playing against the odds of the numbers coming up. So the odds aren't going to change for you. So
yeah, the odds aren't. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Time up on that one.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Powerball anyways, but let's jump on to the next one. Google is going to let you upload photos and add missing roads in Google Maps soon. And I think this is exciting stuff. First, it's going to roll out to Android users where they can, like, before when you had to, like, upload pictures to, like, a restaurant or something like that, you'd have to leave a review. So Google's letting you post pictures up on that restaurant's page now without leaving a review, and you can like edit the store hours and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like that, I like that part of it. Like you can do that, and then eventually like you can take pictures of it if something's changed. You can read reviews. They're doing like this big push to love local, and they want to get like 100,000 reviews. It's kind of like they'll push to help companies with COVID and get people to go out to places since they're more
like smaller companies that maybe don't know how to update their Google profile or something like that.
Yeah, but the issue is that you can now edit maps or delete incorrect roads and things like that and rename
through the like web browser version of Google Maps.
Do you trust people to do that?
Well, they didn't for the longest time, so that's the first time they've ever released this feature.
Yeah, so like do you want like people naming like, oh, I live on Butt Street? That's what I would do.
I'm curious what's going to sneak through because they said they know that that's going to be a problem, and they said they're going to try to verify this information before it's posted.
So this is going worldwide, the map feature. So I wonder if it's for like a lot of places where they don't have a lot of access to.
Yeah, maybe.
So like smaller towns in other like countries, or even smaller towns in the U.S. where they might not get to.
But you'd be surprised at how behind Google Maps can be sometimes. Because I remember when our main bridge in our city went out, Brent's Bridge, I did a Google Maps thing, and it didn't yet know that the bridge was closed. And it was a day after it was closed. So, yeah. That's our time, but you have anything else to add real quick before we move on to the next one?
Timer spoken, I'm done.
All right, we got one final tech bite of the week, and that's a 22-year-old Bitcoin entrepreneur announces that he is going to release a free speech phone.
Yeah, this is us catering to the far right. So it's the Freedom Phone by Eric Fineman.
I almost put this in the dumb tech of the week, too.
It is dumb tech of the week because I think it was just like go belly up. But it's a phone that comes preloaded with Parler and Gab, which I didn't know what Gab was, but I guess it's another right-wing website. Like, so
I would say right-wing / like fringe people like that feel like they get blocked on Twitter or Facebook all the time. So yeah, it's like a grab bag of people that are not non-desirables, but people that kind of stir up trouble.
Yeah, so it's coming with that. So first of all, like you're gonna have to get people to want to use Parler and Gab because they've been taken down on all like the other app stores.
And they're poorly made. Like they get hacked all the time. I don't know why you would sign up for it and then you get your information hacked. I love how this trend of naming everything freedom this, freedom that, because I remember this harkens back to the days when they had freedom fries. I'm not sure if people remember that after 9/11.
We still have, they're still called freedom fries in my house. No, but yeah, it's like they're just trying to take advantage of the moment. Like the My Pillow guy is trying to start like a right-wing Twitter. And like,
not going to work.
Yeah, the phone's just like a 6-inch phone, 128 gigabytes of storage, supposedly an awesome camera.
They didn't say how much the Freedom OS App Store.
Yeah, they supposedly they didn't say how much it's going to cost, but like how is this going to run? Are other apps going to join this? Like, are people going to make apps for this or allow their apps on this phone?
My guess is they claim it's not Android, which is on all like 90% of the phones out there, but there's no way it's not Android. I think they're lying.
That's what I got too. But time's up on that one.
All right. Yeah, let's jump into our regular stories of the week. We'll let these breathe a little.
And these stories, we're going to talk for hours. So
hours. Each one of these an hour long.
Put on your house slippers, get your brandy and your pipe, and
sit
do
by
that. The fire and listen to us talk.
Grab a bunch of extra logs too, because you're going to be sitting there a long time. Yep. But yeah, first one up is Tinder will soon let you run a background check on a potential date. And I'm not in the dating scene anymore, obviously. We're both married. But I just found this very interesting.
Like, it makes sense, especially for Tinder, if you're meeting random people or, like, you're talking to somebody. So I guess the Match Group owns Tinder. They also own
every single dating app out there. It's like the biggest conglomerate of dating.
Yeah, OkCupid, Hinge, and Match. It makes sense because, like, when you run somebody's, it's only going to need somebody's phone number and their name, their first name, and you can use their full name. But it's only going to run, like, abuse, like, reports for, like, abuse, sexual abuse, or domestic abuse that somebody's been charged with. It's not going to do drug offenses. But like that's all it's going to run.
No, it does like all the arrests or convictions, like restraining orders, harassment, and violent crime. So it's pretty much everything but drug and traffic.
Yeah. So the company that does it is actually Garbo. It's a nonprofit.
Which sounds like a fake company, but
well, when I hear it, I just think of Gabbo from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, they're working with those. They're saying it's going to be a charge. They don't know how much yet. It might be, like, a one-off thing if you want to do it, or it might be, like, a subscription fee.
First of all, my first thought is I didn't think people who use Tinder were that, like, were that serious about dating. I thought they were more like, oh, I'm just trying to hook up for this tonight or this week. I didn't think the people on Tinder were actually looking for serious relationships, and maybe that's what they're doing, but
well, I think some people do meet people on Tinder. Like I think it happens occasionally. A lot of people use it just to hook up, but I do think like it does happen.
And I love how everybody's embarrassed if they meet their spouse on Tinder as well. Like they don't. They're like, oh yeah, they come up with some elaborate story of where they actually met their spouse as opposed to just saying they met on Tinder.
Yeah, but like I can see like people wanting to use it on OkCupid, Hinge, or Match, like the big.
Well,
ones.
definitely OkCupid. Those are some shady people on that site. I remember.
I think one of Jen's roommates met her husband on OkCupid.
Really?
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
I think the shadiest one I remember was Plenty of Fish.
Plenty of Fish. Did our one coworker meet her husband on that?
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't want to say you can edit a name, but like. People are like ashamed of it, but like, how are you supposed to meet people? Like,
yeah, there's not really many good ways to meet people.
Like, it's free. Matches, they say like people that really want a relationship, so they're willing to pay for it. But
yeah, Match seems like the serious one, but Tinder's the one that's supposedly doing this first.
I mean, I am lucky. Like we've been together 11 years, something like that.
Yeah.
12 years maybe 12 this year. But like I'm lucky I never had to do any of this stuff. It seems awful. My wife's sister is like on these sites and it just seems awful to go through.
Yeah, I do not like I'm like happily married. And I'm glad I'll never have to use that. So what's funny though is they did say they're skipping drug possession charges because they're trying to like make it more equal, like I guess for equity. Because they said that when they did research, I guess a disproportionate percentage of black people were arrested for drug charges. So
yeah, that's been like a known thing for a while now, that people are trying to combat. That's that African Americans are arrested at a higher rate for drug possessions than white people.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, everybody, like, especially, like, it's, like, low things like marijuana and all, which is slowly becoming legal.
Yeah, I think drug charges will start to slide away anyways.
They should.
But they say that it doesn't meaningfully predict gender-based violence, and that's the whole, like, what they're driving at anyways, is they're driving to, like, let you know that, hey, this could be a dangerous person you're meeting. They've been violent to females or males in the past.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, don't do background checks on me or Mike. So,
but I still find it weird that you can run a background check on somebody so easily, just with a name and phone number.
You can just Google people's names. A lot of arrest records are public records. That's what they're using.
But do you think they should be public records? Like, should all of them be public?
That's a question for another day.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, most arrests are public records. That's why they say a lot of times you see Colorado and Florida arrests.
Everything's
like,
public in those places.
Because like everything's public. So like I think it kind of should like, but court cases are public knowledge too. And like with the internet now, is just a lot easier to find this information. It used to be a lot harder.
It seems like maybe they should figure out a way to like get this off the internet after a certain amount of time, or like make it easier. Just because I feel like there's lots of people out there that are trying to get a job or whatever and say they did something 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and it probably was, something dumb they did, and it haunts them for the rest of their life. So
yep. So that's like a culture change that needs to happen. But you want to go on to the next topic?
Yeah, let's jump in the next topic. This is another social one, and Andrew Yang, I think he's trying to run for New York City mayor.
Yeah, he's the front runner right now, supposedly.
Okay, I don't even know when the elections are supposed to take place, but one of his big platform things he wants to do is a thing called People's Bank, and basically the whole idea of it is to help distribute basic income to 500,000 New Yorkers that need it.
Yeah, so when he ran for president on the Democratic ticket, like when in the primaries, like his big thing was universal income. So like people at the bottom get like a base income to help them. And so that's what he's trying to do. And like, cause like a lot of times if you're like a legal immigrant, like you have a hard time getting funds and all. I guess New York has like an ID badge that they use.
Yeah, I didn't know this, but yeah, they said that in New York you have what's called an ID NYC badge, and it like is a recognized form of ID for like interacting with the police or getting a job. And I guess anybody over the age of 10 can get it, even if you're like a legal immigrant or.
Well, it kind of makes sense because so many people come into New York. I mean, I think it's probably the cultural mecca of the world right now, especially. So, like, it has a population of like 8 million people. So, like, this universal income idea, like, people can get it. So it'll be like $2,000 over a year.
Which is not a lot. I don't know really what $2,000 is going to do over a year's time.
But every little bit helps, really.
Yeah.
So he's projecting it be a $1 billion per year investment. But, like, the issue is, like, when they shown, like, when you invest in stuff like this, that, like, social services stuff goes down. So spending money on the homeless and, like, things like that, Medicaid and all go down under universal income. That's what they see a lot in, like, European countries that have it.
Yeah.
And, like, people are happy, crime goes down, so, like, eventually you will, like, see the payoff of that investment of paying it in.
I think we've covered it on like a previous episode like a lot, but I think it's a good idea just because of like how jobs are changing as well, like automation and all that sorts of things. So it's good to have systems like this in place for the future.
Yeah, like, it'll be interesting to see if they start this in New York, like how it pans out. If it works, would it expand to other cities and states and all?
Yeah, I'm all for like testing out new things, especially in smaller spaces. Like I'm not sure how comfortable it would be if they just rolled something like this out to the whole United States of America and like everybody gets $2,000 a month type thing. But I like trying out these more not out there ideas, but like different ideas in smaller places first, and just see how it works out, and then expand it further.
Well, in another podcast I do, The Worst Parents Out There, we talked about the stimulus plan. Biden wants to send like $300 a month starting into like July to people with kids.
Yeah, my buddy's super stoked about that.
Yeah.
He got his first check yesterday.
Who is it?
My friend Tyler, he's been on the show before.
Yeah, no, that's who I was going to say, because he has, 4 kids, right?
No, it's like 6 kids.
So, like, and like we were talking that, like, every little bit helps, and, like, they said giving $300 to families will cut child poverty in half, which is only $300 a month to cut child poverty in half is pretty incredible. And, like, I don't know, I think studies show, like, when people have, like, that base, like, the economy thrives because people are willing to spend money.
Yeah, I think there's something to it. I think just some people are worried that people will not like want to work anymore and like stimulate the economy that way. And I don't know, there's good arguments to both sides, I think. But there's just some groups of people that need the extra help just because they have so many kids, and you don't want to, if you have kids, you have to raise them. You don't want to work like 2 or 3 jobs and not be there for your kids, because that, again, like basically sets the kids up for failure if you're not there for them, honestly. But let's real quick, let's get into the other things that the People's Bank is going to provide. And one of the other things he was looking to do is provide what he likes to call microloans. Did you see this?
Yeah, so it'll be like smaller loans for people that usually can't get them, that want to kind of start a business.
Yeah.
So, like, starting a business is tough. A lot of people lose a lot of money trying to get into, like, starting their own business. And a lot of people that have lower incomes don't have the capital to start business. That was, like, the thing about, like, Jeff Bezos has made his money. He's made a ton of money. But he did start with, like, a $250,000 loan from his parents just gave him $250,000. Like, that's a pretty sizable amount of money to start your business on. Yeah,
some people like that have like parents who can give them money, or like friends that could like invest or whatever.
But this would be people who can't get loans and like just need a small amount of money. And like you would have saw this help like a lot of restaurants and all during like the pandemic to get small loans and to be able to like pay back at a low interest or no interest.
I'm all for like the lower interest loans like this, just because like it seems like there's always those companies out there that want to prey on people like this and like give them loans with crazy interest, like amounts that they can't pay off. So yeah, I like this idea as long as it's not just like giving money away to like people who don't need it, you know, like, because I feel like systems like this, like some savvy businessman's going to figure out a way to take advantage of it. And then it always ends up like, this company that has already a lot of money somehow got this money, and the people who actually need it didn't get it. That's how it ends up.
That was like the PPP loans, because
as
soon as it passed, Trump administration fired the person that was supposed to oversee it, and a lot of people got money that shouldn't have got money.
A whole bunch. You ready to jump into our next topic, Alex?
Yeah. So speaking of getting loans, you can get some loans for some NFTs, Mike, if you want to get into that world.
Yeah. This is the thing that kind of flew past my radar completely because I'm somewhat into Bitcoin and like the other cryptocurrency things, but
I have a Bitcoin tattoo.
I do, yeah, on my upper thigh, just for my site only. But I didn't know you could also sell other items by like using the blockchain. So basically, we've explained this in other episodes, but the blockchain is just like a way to encrypt like different items with algorithms, and each encrypted item is unique and copyable as far as like it's yours. Somebody can't hack it and like steal that identity from you. So if it's in your account, you have it. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but
no. So like that's technically what it is. It shows ownership over something.
Yes.
Like a big thing for it right now is digital art, so like somebody can own a piece of digital art. Before it was just kind of like, here it is, anybody can download it and all. So now like it adds like that blockchain account to it. So the NFT stands for non-fungible token.
Which sounds gross.
Yeah. So like you can clearly see who owns it. So now like a lot of digital art selling and people paying a ton of money for it because like they can show ownership of it. And so it's a kind of cool idea that these artists can actually get paid for their things.
Yeah, because in the past it was really hard to get paid for like your artwork or anything like that. Like there wasn't a lot of platforms out there that you could sell digital copies of things. Like you buy physical ones, but not digital copies.
Yeah, and like this NFT thing has really blown up in the past
couple months, maybe a year.
It's really blown up, the money that's going around on these things, because like a lot of people are thinking that this is like an investment tool, or like in the art community, like buying art.
Like millions of dollars, like tons of money, and people are spending tons of money. Yeah,
so this artist Beeper just sold one of his pieces for $69 million.
I don't even know who Beeper is. What's a Beeper?
He's an internet artist. There is a very good podcast, Planet Money, that interviewed him this week about it. I recommend checking out. He seems like a nice guy. Even he admits that he thinks the bubble is going to burst on the NFTs. But like everybody's getting this. The NBA does it. They have this thing called Top Shot.
So it's like a unique. Everybody gets unique trading cards, or like can't you buy like snippets of game footage?
So yeah, it's like a snippet of like a highlight that a guy did, and you can buy blockchain, and they're selling like there's only 200 people that own this clip. Yeah. But the thing is, like the NBA still owns the rights to it. They can show it anytime. You can still watch the highlights on YouTube or anything. It's kind of like a trading card now for them online.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, it's still a digital file, so technically you could still download it and copy it a billion times. That's the downside to digital.
So like that's the thing, but like it makes sense why the NBA's doing it, and like the nice thing about the artists like selling digital art is they get a commission every time it resells. So like because he was saying like he just wanted to see what it was like, this guy Beeper. Yeah. He sold like 100 copies of this one art for like $1, and like a week later or 2 weeks later it sold for like 60,000.
People like resold it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets 10% of that resell.
Which is nice. So the original owner always gets like a percentage of the sales.
they at least get something.
Yeah.
My issue with this is I just don't see, like, because I think people just think it's going to be collectible stuff and, like, I own this and, like, but the issue with, like, when you have, like, a baseball card, like, you have a Babe Ruth baseball card, there's not many of them because people usually just throw them away. Like, these aren't going anywhere.
Well, you lose your account because Bitcoins aren't, like, if you shut your account down, like, that Bitcoin ID that's ID that's attached to that item is yours and nobody else has it. So if you're gone, nobody can get in your account and, that's gone.
Yeah, I don't see the point of, like, the sports getting involved in it because, like, Gronkowski just sold some cards on the NFT for, like, 1.2 million. Like, I don't get that part of it. I can see, like, art. There's like some rapper, 2 rappers I've never heard of released like their sex tape on an NFT.
Yeah.
And like, I can see like somebody wanting that because it's like a one of a kind thing and they want that. But like these cards, like, or these highlights, like, they're just kind of there. Like, I think people that's really into that collecting culture, like, cause like, we'll buy like my oldest son like these Batman toys and it's like, oh, you could get this rare gold one and collect this and collect all of them. It's like all about collecting stuff now, and then people think it's going to sell in value, and I just don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't get the whole idea behind it, but I guess people are into like items that are unique, and in some ways this is unique and it's yours. Like, if you downloaded a picture off just like Google's picture browser, like, and you showed it to somebody, like, oh, great, you copied a picture. It's not yours. There's no way to show ownership. There's no way to show like, hey, this is mine. Whereas on the blockchain, everything is signed and verified by like algorithms. So people know you own this. People know that it's yours. But the thing is there's still fraud. People have been taking like pictures of Van Goghs and posting it up there or stuff like that, and it's not even their art. They're just stealing it and selling it as a digital picture. So there's already fraud running rampant with this.
Yeah, it's just like I think this market is just so big and it got so big so fast. Like, cause like the Top Shot with like the cards, somebody bought a LeBron Cosmic. It was supposed to be like even rarer, like 49 copies of it for like $208,000. Like, you're banking on that somehow. You either just want it or you're banking on it that it's going to go up in value. And like, I can just see people like, nah, I'm not paying for this.
But Alex, if you're spending $200,000 or $1 million, I think you have plenty of money to burn because I think you're probably not worried about it, honestly.
Which is crazy that people hate the idea of like universal basic income and people are spending $69 million on a digital art piece.
Are you sure this is just not a way to launder money on the internet?
I mean, it could be. Like, you could easily buy this stuff, sell it. I mean, they would have to be able to show that you sell. Like, if you sell that at a profit, I don't think it would be questioned. But if you're like selling stuff and taking a loss,
yeah,
and then because that's what money laundering does is us.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like I think you're using cryptocurrencies to buy it as well. I'm pretty sure,
yeah.
But I don't know. Just everything around this seems a little off and shady to me.
I think it's because Bitcoin's so expensive right now. I think people are looking at Bitcoin. They're looking at like the stock for GameStop, and like people want to make money. They want to get in, and they think this stuff is just going to keep going up and up. And I think it's a bubble, and it's going to burst. And then you're hoping that.
So you think people are buying this as an investment then, as opposed to a collector?
I think it's both. I think some people buying it as a. Because like this stuff is selling quick too, like reselling for money. So I think some people are buying it as like this to resell, and some people are buying it as a collector. Now, like you have some digital rights to the art, but you don't have a lot of digital rights to the art. Like you can show it on like a screen in your house or anything like that, but like you can't like make money off it besides reselling it.
Yeah, I was trying to look into that as well, and they said you get the ownership of the work, though the artist can still retain the copyright and reproduction rights. So, like, you have it, but you don't have it.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the whole thing with digital, though, is when you buy a movie like off of Amazon.com, if you really look into like the whole like stipulations of your purchase of the movie or music off of Amazon, like the digital version, it doesn't say anywhere you actually own that copy. Like they could shut their service down and you would lose that movie, you know?
Yeah, didn't they like after a while take stuff that people bought off their subscription? Didn't them and Apple do that?
Yeah, I believe there was some cases of that where like, this company doesn't allow us to carry this anymore, so they took it down.
And it didn't give you your money back?
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where people like aren't really with digital now. Like, there's no clear ownership, and this is the first thing that has come out really that shows clear ownership.
Yeah, and it's just like it's fascinating to look up. I would recommend looking. Everybody's writing articles about it, and you might have seen like NFTs or heard it. I would say look it up.
Non-fungible token. Did you have a poll regarding this?
Yeah, we're going to do a poll. What would, if you had a fungible token, what would you want? Would you want like a digital art piece? Would you want a sports like scene like the Top Shot for the NBA is doing? Do you want like a celebrity sex tape that you own? Or like that's something else?
Oh, okay. Another one. Wow.
Yeah, like that's the other, and you can hit us up on Twitter. You put other, tell us what you want, like you would want to see up there.
In the comments, yeah. And if you put other, throw in the comments what you'd want to buy off the NFTs. Let's jump into I think this is the final story. There's actually maybe another story that runs with it, but federal investigators blast Tesla, call for stricter safety standards. I found this one kind of funny because it kind of reminded me of the whole FBI versus CSI thing, because it seems like there's like these different government organizations or like groups that kind of dislike each other or war against each other. And there's these two ones that kind of control safety standards on the highway, and that's the NHTSA, which is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and the NTSB, which is the National Transportation Safety Board. And where they differ is the first one, the NHTSA, basically sets all the standards that companies have to follow, and like safety standards. And the NTSB investigates like crashes and like finds out what went wrong and like gives out recommendations based on those findings. So they both yeah.
Well, just to say, like the NSB, they do like plane crashes, train crashes, any mode of transportation, they handle it. The highway is just highways for cars, so that's what they're in charge of. The NHTSA.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, the reason why they're warring is because basically the whole thing is the one organization, the NTSB, is mad that the NHTSA is run. Basically, they have to like pander to the car manufacturers. They have to pander to the voters. They have to pander to like lobbyists, all this stuff. So they don't want to make harsh changes to safety standards in fear of making auto manufacturers mad, or like making buyers like not buy cars, or making their constituents angry. So one is more tied up in like all that political like mess, and the other one is just strictly, hey, this is what we found in our investigation and this is what we recommend. We don't care about the other bullcrap.
Yeah, their job is just for public safety, transportation safety. That's all they care about. So like the big thing is there's no limits or like guidelines for these automated driving systems that these companies have to follow, which to me is crazy that they don't have to follow like a certain guidelines. I guess they were saying that under like the Trump administration is they kind of just like car companies do whatever they want it as they advance this technology. And like the reason that this the NTSB has called out Tesla is Tesla has a lot of crashes caused by this.
Six over like 6 or 7 years, which is not crazy.
Well, this is
six
only
fatalities.
this is only the ones that they actually investigated. They
That's
don't
true.
investigate all of them. But like other companies had it too, and like part of the issue is like these automated driving system is designed for highways and freeways. It's not designed for country roads where semi trucks or tractors are coming onto the road. So like it doesn't recalculate for those.
Yeah, there's no limitation to when you can turn these features on or off, and I guess you can turn it off like on a road it's not designed to be used on.
And like most people, like I didn't even know that was a thing, that it wasn't, they're not designed for certain roads. Because like I was watching TV yesterday and I saw a video for like the Nissan Rogue.
Yeah.
And like they're going through it, and the guy is like bumper to bumper traffic or a bunch of cars on the highway, and the guy's like, well, I'm just going to use your driver assist, and he just turns it on and takes his hands off the wheels. And I think that's what a lot of people see these cars as, but they don't technically work like that. You're supposed to be still in control of the car at any moment in case they fail.
Yeah, you're supposed to still. I think you're supposed to even still have your hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
And Tesla has always pushed back on this. Like they don't. I think they didn't want to install cameras that were like looking at the people for a while, or they didn't want to put like extra sensors in the car to like say whether or not your hands are on the wheel. So I think Tesla is the most lax out of all the automakers as far as.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think Elon Musk really cares. It's just throw money at it. Hope that it works. It works. You know.
But yeah, I guess I guess we're just really behind in a lot of safety standards because the one organization, the NHTSA, should have already implemented auto braking on all vehicles, which is not like a set standard yet. There's like all sorts of things that we're way behind on that they're afraid to implement because they don't want to drive costs up or make all these automobile companies change their designs and such.
And like the real thing is that they should mostly be for the safety of the passengers driving the car. Like
yeah.
There should be a set limit of what you have to hit for your driver assistance. Just because like these, like it is like I think people do think like you just put it on and that's it. Like there's videos of people like I'm putting this on and I'm taking a nap on like YouTube and all, and like it's like it's not doing anybody good. And like you see these commercials and it's like, oh, hands free.
Yeah, I don't understand who approves all this because I think Tesla has a button you can hit on the remote and it'll drive the car to you in the parking lot. And I thought to myself, like, isn't there a company isn't there like an organization that should regulate this and say, hey, Tesla, maybe you shouldn't do this because you could run over a child or something?
Yeah, especially like this technology is moving so quick and fast and all. And
but I get they don't want to hyper regulate because that will slow down the possible like driverless car technology being developed, because right now we're like in early stages and they don't want to shut things down too early because that could hinder our like the driverless car explosion eventually. Like it's going to get big.
Yeah, but I still think you need some safety regulation. Like this made me less wanting to get a driverless car at this time.
Well, yeah, it's just one of those things where Tesla does like we're more directing this towards Tesla because they are probably the most not nefarious for it, but like they advertise it the most, I feel like, and it's like just the wording of what it is, autopilot, makes it sound like more feature rich and more capable than it actually is.
Well, that was like the thing with like it reminds me of when cruise control first came out. And people are like, oh, cruise control, you don't have to do anything. And like, no, you still have to be in charge of, like, control of your car. Like, but I'm also somebody, like, I don't use cruise control, like, ever. I used it, like, when I drive back home, which is like a 10-hour drive, I maybe use it for 5 to 10 minutes. Because that's, like, to stretch my legs, but I don't use it at all.
I always forget to use it. But then when I do, I feel like I save gas a little bit because it's just a set speed. Because when I don't, I feel like I'm pushing the gas up and down a little bit, kind of. So like my speed ranges from like 65 to 70 and just constantly like revving up and down.
Well, you always like when you pull next to somebody at the stoplight, you always rev your engine, to see if they want to go.
Well, you have to. Like if you have a Ford Focus, you got to show it off.
You have to face it. That's what they were made for.
Yeah, that's what they're made for. So there's no doubt.
Yeah, but our other topic that was kind of like hand in hand with this is, so they were testing people driving these driverless cars. And so what they did is they had 3 sets of people who never used this technology before, people that have like some acquaintance to it but don't own a car that has it, and people that have the cars and use it a decent amount. So they had them drive on the highway for like an hour, and after they were done, they would ask them, hey, did you see anything weird on the highway while you were driving? And what they did is they had other cars next to them, like that would pass them, that had like teddy bears strapped to the back of them, like giant teddy bears.
Let's just be fair. You just add this story because you like the idea of giant teddy bears strapped to the back of cars.
Yeah, I love teddy bears. Who doesn't?
I read this whole thing and I did not understand. Like I reread the results like a billion times, I felt like, and I don't think I learned anything from them.
Well, the results were odd because they said the people who have never used the technology saw the least amount of like teddy bears. Like they said they didn't see it, which makes me wonder, like there were people like that are just focused on like the driving or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then people who had somewhat acquaintance with it saw it a little bit, and the people that had like used it a lot saw the teddy bears the most. So like they're more used to, I guess, looking around and driving this. The whole thing is to see if people are still paying attention while they're driving their cars.
Which I don't understand. I didn't see like how that helped out at all with finding out if people paid attention, because it sounded like the person who saw the teddy bears wasn't paying attention, but also you could also think that they could be paying more attention because they did notice the teddy bears. So I don't know what to take from that.
Well, because like also these cars are putting in cameras to see, like to notice if you're paying attention or not.
Yeah.
And they can cut like the speed down of your car and all if you're not paying attention, or like change the throttle of the car. So like it's just like to see like what people's reaction is to driving these cars, because they're still new.
Yeah.
So like they want to get a sense of like what people actually do when these cars are driving.
So let's put in my Twitter poll of the week. Alex has his, and mine is going to be, would you feel comfortable taking a nap on the freeway while the Tesla autopilot was running? Just a yes or no question. A 15-minute snooze.
And then also we're going to do a third Twitter poll. Who had a better Twitter poll, Mike or Alex?
Okay, yeah, we'll do a third one. And Alex, I need to jet off of here, but you want to do the sign off real quick?
Yeah, thank you for listening to The Future Jam. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Future Jam, or give us an email at thefuturejam@gmail.com, or give us a call at 513-BOT-COLA. You guys have a good night.
Yes, have a good one.